Welcome back, everybody. This is Big Money Manny, and we are going here to complete the introduction to our brand new book. This is Man Up by Bedros Keulian. Hope you guys are all doing well, and took a couple of days off to rest up. You know, there's been some late nights going on over here with a lot of activity that we got going on, but definitely want to get back on this. And it's kind of cool. Every time I do take a day off from reading, and this is something I learned in my last book, which I don't want to take too much time off. Um, I just know that the chapter lengths here are different, but it feels like every time I take a day off and I get back to reading, it's almost like I needed to hear that information on that specific day. And the reason, and it's kind of I mean, I couldn't time it better, and I love it when that happens. So today we're going, we started off the book. We started off with the preface and getting just into the introduction. And like I said, man, this guy, I said it the last video, he is one of my heroes. I love his outlook on things. I love the way he puts things. His style is a little different. Bedros Keulian. Um, Discovered him because our office was watching the video and got to watch it his own YouTube channel. And Bedros, man, my wife and I mean, we both love his stuff. We listen to his to podcasts and interviews about this gentleman, and got this book from his page. And I mean, so far it's been awesome. So we started off saying the reason why he decided to um, write the book, or I guess he just chose that this incident in his life and why things changed for him. And it said it's pretty much from a what he thought was a heart attack that he had in his guest house, and how he powered through that. And now we're going to continue from right there. I got to read every single word in this book. It's a pretty big introduction here, but it's very powerful. As I was reading before I started recording this video, got a little emotional at some points because he shares some dark points in his life, some low points in his life. And as a business owner myself, one thing that I find is that as we have other, I'm in Primerica, and Primerica loves to use its proven leaders to step in other leaders' offices and share their stories and what's helped them to, get past adversity. And I mean, what better way to have your crew, your team, your trainees? What better way to have them excited, and what better way to have them equipped to deal with all that comes with being an entrepreneur, by having a veteran step in and share his or her own experiences. Today we had an awesome couple this morning. I believe they're from Northern California, and they shared some awesome nuggets with us. And so it kind of revitalizes our journey, our reason for being here, reminding us of who we are and why we're here, why we chose this path, which we are, we're set in stone here. We ain't going anywhere else. I mean, definitely we're going to do some other things, but this is always going to be one of our things, our business here. So anyway, got a little emotional hearing about some of these stories from Bedros. So very excited to be sharing this with you guys. I'm gonna try to get through this as quickly as possible. I might skip some points, but I highlighted the points that I really want to touch upon here in this chapter review of this introduction in the book Man Up by Bedros Keulian. I hope you guys enjoy. So starting off where we left off with his massive heart attack in his house, right? And so he says he returned home that night, and he told his wife that he, had a heart attack, and she was worried about him. She wanted him to go see a doctor, right? Sorry, guys, have a little technical difficulty. Anyway, so Bedros Keulian has a heart attack, right? Gets into this main house and shares with his wife, and she's worried, and she has him go see a doctor. He goes to see a doctor, and the doctor explains to him and said this was not a heart attack. Matter of fact, it was a massive and severe anxiety attack, and the first of many to come. All right, and so he told, he said, Bedros said, man, this makes sense because um, he's been under a lot of stress from work, right? Dealing with a lot with his business that he created, and he said there was a new wave of worry and stress, and it's been going on for a long time, and he wasn't sleeping. He become a bad sleeper because he always had business stuff on his mind. To combat this, he would drink NyQuil and Vicodin at night to fall asleep. And in the morning, he'd wake up with the cloudiness and he'd fight that off with a lot of coffee, right? To get him and pre workouts. He said it was a constant drip of pre workouts that he would drink throughout the day to battle the cloudiness. And so it was all these things that he was throwing into his body. And then the doctor said, Bedros, you've got something about, it said here, let me see. Oh, there you go. It says, Bedros, um, you've got to do something about your stress, or you may very well end up back here with a real heart attack. See, the doctor explained to him it wasn't a real heart attack, it was a anxiety attack, just from stress. From stress. And I've heard this before, and I shared it in my last video that um, when I was 20 years old, I had something that happened to me, and I thought it was a heart attack. And I believe today, now that I'm reading this, I mean, I'm not a medical doctor or anything, but that might have been just stress because I was in a situation in my life where um, the economy went down and airports were letting go. So a lot of their management, and I was the youngest one, so they let me go first with a few others, and actually made me, they gave me a position to just work as a regular worker instead of management. And soon after that, they got rid of me because I was making more money as a regular worker than I was as a supervisor. So here I go from making great money, or what I thought I would, a career I thought I'd be at for a long time, and climbing the ranks of the corporate ladder at a young age and breaking records and things like that. And then I'm at an agency job, and then I'm working for the mob. And I'll touch more on that stuff later. But pretty much, I was as a young person, man, I was stressing out. And so I believe what I went through, and what I thought was a heart attack, might have been one of these anxiety attacks. Anyway, back to the story. So he was worried because he thought himself to be sort of the poster boy of health, as he says. At 38 years old, he was a trained and disciplined, athlete who would take on challenges and train for them in a short amount of time. He explains that, he wasn't a fan of running, but in 2 weeks he started to train for, or in 6 weeks he trained and ran the San Diego Marathon, which was 26.2 miles. And then he was just that kind of competitor, which, in my business, we're always looking for those types. I mean, they're just naturally competitive. Um, he said 17 years earlier, he was certified as a field trainer, a personal trainer, and he was in the business of getting people in better shape. He helped people from all walks of life, from different fitness levels, to become, to transform their bodies. He said thousands of people, he transformed their bodies to their, the best shape they've ever been in their entire life, right? And it says that, it was just on the surface, though. Him being the poster boy of health and fitness, it was only on the surface. He says, I was physically healthy, but emotionally, I was a wreck. Right. He says that his doctor told him how these two things are related. Right. The cause of my stress, I'm reading along here, that the cause of my stress and emotion turmoil was my business, which was bleeding money, out of control, and sinking faster than the Titanic. Right. If you're in business, then you know these types of phases in your business. It says years later, Years after becoming a personal trainer, my small business grew into a big business. First, I started coaching and consulting personal trainers and gym owners who wanted to grow their business and become more successful. Then in 2010, he created his new franchise, a fitness franchise now known as the Fit Body Boot Camp. Still going on today, known for its high intensity training, the HIIT exercises that deliver a fat loss results and tone your entire body, and a perfect is perfect for every level of fitness. And he says that he had a great idea, but the business wasn't on steady ground at the time. He says, I had a business partner who was driving me crazy. If you ever hear his interviews, he talks about this relationship with his business partner that he had, right? Excuse me. He had a business partner that was driving him crazy and causing problems for their clients and employees. He had employees who he suspected were actively trying to undermine his business, destroy their brand, and permanently ruin his reputation in the industry. And every day, there were more and more competitors trying to chip away at his potential market share. By late 2012, all of that had left him with enough stress to cause anxiety attacks so serious that he thought he had suffered a massive heart attack, with his life flashing before his eyes. And I'm reading along here. It says, but this was hardly visible to anyone from the outside. It looked like I was in full control and that my consulting and franchise business was thriving. But on the inside, I felt like an imposter. I was bracing for the inevitable crash. I had lost control of my business. Man, during a good month, my business would make some profit, but most months, my business was a speeding train that was quickly running out of track. And worse, it felt as if there was nothing I could do about it. Man, I've been there. I've been there. All right, so clients and customers, sometimes I'm still in. Clients and customers started abandoning the business, personal savings accounts. Okay, now this right here is crazy. He pulled up his personal savings account just to keep up with payroll. Clients were leaving, employees were leaving, business was leaving. He said it was sinking faster than the Titanic. So he had an idea that the business was thriving, right? He had a business partner who, him and his business partner were running it. He had employees that were against him. He had constant complaints from the clients. They were not happy, and he had to pull up his personal savings account and get money from there just to keep up with payroll. We still didn't have enough money to pay our taxes and run the payroll for our employees. Man. All right, so now we're in a slump here with the business. All right. And then this part right here hit me. I sold my beloved Nissan GTR, 100 grand car, just to get some quick cash to make ends meet. I'm a car guy, so that one right there hit me. So a lot of the our big business partners in Primerica, I love looking at their vehicles. I love looking at their rides, right? Because a vehicle, your car is sort of an extension of your own personality, right? The car is, you know, it represents a person. Not all the time, but most of the time. And he goes into some details about the GTR. And I was like, okay, this guy's talking cars now. All right. And I started paying more attention there. I already was, but even more so. Nissan designed a GTR to be the Lamborghini killer. It was a beast of a car. Really is. It was an affordable supercar, and I thought I could afford. Now, this is we're not materialistic people. We like stuff. Okay, we like cars. But it's not like it's everything, right? So don't get us wrong here. I think me and Bedros are on the same boat here. So he's talking about this car, how he's got the details down, right? It was supposed to be the Lamborghini killer. It is the Lamborghini killer. Very very nice car, an affordable supercar. Thought I thought I could afford it because I thought my income was on the upswing. Not only that, I'd spend more than $20,000 to upgrade the car's performance by adding every feature you could to increase boost, torque, horsepower, and top end speed. All right, sorry guys. I don't know why my light's tripping right now. What's going on here? Hopefully it stays still. Okay. Spent $20,000 upgrading the car, torque, horsepower, top end speed. I couldn't afford to pay for it in full, so I took a shortcut, put down a down payment on it, and financed the rest. So it wasn't a big surprise that when our financial troubles started, I had to get rid of it. I still miss that damn car. My son Andrew cried the day I sold it because he loved the times we spent together in it. We'd hop in the GTR and zip up and down the highways at high speeds, winning races against tricked out supercars and motorcycles. His favorite part of the whole thing was when I'd say, okay, buddy, why don't you put the car into race mode and let's see what she can really do? Andrew would lean forward from his seat and flick all three switches, traction control, suspension, and gearbox into race mode, turning an already fast car into Godzilla, which the GTR was nicknamed by the engineer who created it, 0 to 60 miles in under 3 seconds. Gun it, daddy, Andrew would say before I'd launch the car down the road, hitting triple digit speeds. The night before we sold the car to a collector from San Francisco, Andrew and I took it on the highway for one last ride. During the drive home, I looked over at him and he had tears coming down his cheeks. One of the worst memories of my life was trying to explain to my 7-year-old why Daddy had to sell our GTR so that he could make his quarterly taxes and payroll that month. I'm sad for him. That that's pretty dark. That's pretty crazy. It says here kids should have kids shouldn't have to be concerned about things like quarterly taxes and payroll. What a statement. It says here, I felt hopeless and worthless. Looking back at that time in my life, I was in a dark place. I was in a dark place and probably depressed. I did all I could to avoid work. I slept in every morning, not wanting to face my business troubles. When the alarm went off, I'd hit the snooze button 3 times. All I wanted to do was to avoid my clients, my customers who complain about one thing after another. I found excuses to not be around my business partner because I harbored so much resentment toward him. But it says here, avoidance isn't a strategy, but I was trying to turn it into one. That's a nice piece of advice right there. Avoidance isn't a strategy, but I was trying to turn it into one. And he said here, as anyone who has been in business knows, what happens at the office doesn't stay at the office. I avoided talking to my wife about our business because I dreaded telling her that I didn't know where the next sale or income opportunity would come from. I could definitely relate. Few things would make you feel more of a loser of a man than admitting to your wife that you're unable to make payroll, quarterly taxes, or the mortgage. Every month, I would choose which bill I wanted to pay, then figure out how to deal with the rest of the money that I owed. I seriously considered selling a kidney. Everything above led me to that Monday morning in 2012 to the heart attack that never was in the doctor's office, where a guy in a lab coat told me essentially that avoiding all my problems and failing to take leadership would put me in an early grave. Sorry, guys. It was an alarm I could not snooze out of. So here's what I knew. I knew that my business might have been falling apart, but it was built on a solid idea, amazing potential, yet I just couldn't figure out how to make this leap. Hell, even a small hop in the right direction would have been nice. But I kept telling myself that it wasn't my fault. Check this part out. He says, I had a bad partner. I had lazy employees. I had needy clients. And at least that's what I convinced myself of. There you go. When you're sitting on a doctor's examining table with wires hanging off of you, being tested for signs of a heart attack, none of that matters. Bad partners, lazy employees, and needy clients didn't land me in front of a doctor. I did. So there you go. You take accountability, right? You got to know, if it's your fault, it's your fault. You know, you can't blame other people all the time. Um, it was my fault. I had made myself a victim by placing my problems at everyone else's feet instead of where they belonged, mine. Leaving the doctor's office, I was grateful. Grateful that I didn't have a heart attack, and even more grateful that I finally knew I was the source of my problems. By accepting that, I had finally gained a sense of control for the first time in my entrepreneurial career. And with control comes clarity. After that day, I made a commitment. I made a commitment to man up as a leader, and as an entrepreneur, I decided that manning up, there's the title of the book, meant getting disciplined about my physical and mental health, leading effectively, setting a clear vision for my organization, communicating clearly with honesty, and building a high performance team around me to make that vision a reality. This decision led to a transformative personal journey, and it's why you're holding this book in your hands right now. It's also what led me to business success. Although I couldn't have known it at the time, the process that started with my anxiety attack led me to improve myself, which catapulted my business. And that's why. See, that is why, guys, it's important to go through those bad times, because that's the fuel that drives you um, to press on, to get better, to figure out how it's going to work. So Fit Body Boot Camp has since been listed twice on the Inc. 5000 list of the fastest growing businesses in the world, named as one of the top 15 franchises in the industry, and is listed on entrepreneurial on the I'm sorry on the entrepreneur magazine. Magazine's 500 fastest growing franchises. None of this was a coincidence. By making the decision to man up, I went from owning a business that was hemorrhaging money and quickly failing to one that is now a recognized fitness brand and generates tens of millions of dollars per year. Nice. I went from owning a business that delivered crap for service and was sure to go under to one that's changing the fitness industry and positively impacting tens of millions of people every single day. I can't be prouder of how much I've improved myself and my business, helping others to turn. Um, and now I want to help you accomplish your dreams. I'm going to teach you how to man up too. Manning up, we've all heard the phrases man up, dude, man up and go after the girl of your dreams. Hey man, man up and go and talk to your boss about that raise. Man up and do the right thing. I want to make a few things clear. Number one, manning up isn't something you do in an instant. Yeah, you can summon up temporary courage and take action, but it'll last you only a moment. And then you'll be back to your old self. Manning up is about building the belief systems, habits, practices, educations, and disciplines that allow you to become the best version of yourself, to reach your fullest potential in every category of your life. All right. Now, number two, women can man up too. Make no mistake, manning up is not gender specific. Most people fail to realize that humans are at the top of the food chain. We have a greater purpose on this planet. In fact, we have a responsibility to this planet. to the people on it, to our families, and to ourselves. Nearly all of us are capable of earning more, doing more, and giving more to charities and causes that we believe in. I'm often shocked when I see people living subpar lives, in debt, depression, in poor health, overweight, in broken relationships, in failing businesses that have such great potential. Why? In many cases, in many cases, it's because they've chosen to accept mediocrity and prefer to blame others and make excuses. I'm sure you'd agree that most of us rarely reach our fullest potential in business, health, mindset, and our relationships, right? What if we actually did the work to become the best version of ourselves? Huge. Sorry, guys. What if we actually did the work to become the best version of ourselves? Um, That to me is what man up is all about. Humaning up. It is a state of mind. It's a way of thinking, operating, living, and being. It's a constant pursuit of our best selves to reach our highest capacity and become the people that we were meant to be. So stop making excuses. Take control of of your situation and rise to your potential. Number three, manning up isn't just about work. Manning up is about owning every part of your life. See, every single thing in our daily life affects everything else. And if you have an argument with your significant other in the morning, it'll still be there lingering in your head in the afternoon. If you get crappy sleep, your day is shot. In the same way, oh man, I gotta fix my sleep. I gotta fix my sleep. In the same way, manning up isn't about it's not just about killing it from 9 to 5. It's about bringing that same intensity, energy, instinct, and enthusiasm to your 5 to 9 too, right? To the rest of your day. For me, the process of manning up began after my anxiety attack in the guest house. To the casual observer, it may look simple, but I took a good hard look at the different parts of my life and started working on them. But underneath, it was a profound journey of discovery and self examination. I read hundreds of books on self development and improvement. There you go, guys. This is why we got to do it. Why we're here. I worked on building my self esteem, how I felt about myself, as well as my self image, how I saw myself, and how I thought others viewed me. All right. So I had he says he has dozens of coaches, mentors. Went through dozens of coaches and mentors. Um, and friends asking for their brutal feedback therapy and took a deep dive into my emotional state. He went and got therapy and took a deep dive into his emotional state. I got into masterminds coaching programs, which is another program he has. Groups of like-minded entrepreneurs who want to improve and grow in areas of marketing, sales, profits, productivity, time management, and impact. I kept journals and studied my behavior, thought patterns, feelings, emotions, and actions. I went down some successful paths in my quest, and some blind alleys. I tried experiment after experiment, and all of that. What worked and what didn't work, what helped and what hurt, is in the book. Why Man Up? Is in the book. Why is it called Man Up? As I left the doctor's office, then we fast forward. It's pretty much he was working out, going through a lot of stuff. He says, after the anxiety attack, he kept repeating to himself, "It's time to man up. I'm done with making excuses. I'm done giving control to others and looking at myself as a victim. I know I can do better with my business, with my leadership, and my health, and I am determined to rise to my potential. It's time to man up." Man up was something I used as a long time ago to motivate myself to action during workouts. Sometimes in the middle of a grueling workout, I just say to myself, it's time to man up, dude. And then I'd get under that bar and squat, I'd press, I'd pull my heaviest weight, setting a personal record. That might seem like a small thing, but except that for me, it's time to man up, right? Uh I and he said, I'm sorry. So it may seem like a small thing. It's time to man up. Man up is something I used a long time during workout, sometimes in the middle of a grueling workout. And then I get under the bar, squat, press, and pull my heaviest weight, setting a personal record. That might seem like a small thing, except for me, it's time to man up became a code, a reminder, a mantra that I was going to make my best effort to fix what was wrong with myself and my business. It was a reminder that I had to stop making excuses and take control. Mantras can get a bad rap, but it's time to man up. And then you will take action without hesitation. That's why these 5 words have been my mantra, my personal call to action, my war cry, and an instant reminder that it's time to do the right thing. Not the easy thing, but the right thing. In other words, it's time to do the work right now and do it all the way until I have the outcome that I want to achieve. I went from mismanaging a hodgepodge staff to building a team of highly motivated workers who are driven to execute my vision. I went from choosing TV over some much needed sleep to going to bed and rising at the same time each and every day, each morning without hitting the snooze button. I went from living in a state of chaotic anxiety, constantly anticipating future pain, to living with peace of mind and certainty and definitiveness of purpose. This book is the story of that transformation. I pull no punches on myself. You'll see, as you already have, me at my worst, making stupid and costly mistakes that almost cost me to lose my home, shut down my business, and give up on my life's purpose. I'll share with you now. I went from a stressed out and overwhelmed failure to building a multi-million dollar generating empire. I'll talk to you about how I went from nearly dying about because of anxiety to having the chance to lead my purpose to success and investing in a dozen other industry leading companies in just 3.5 years. I wrote this book because I'm not the only one who has struggled like this, and I don't want anyone to have to go through the entrepreneurial anxiety attacks, financial struggles, depression, and self doubt that I did. My success has no incident. It's also no incident. I'm sorry. My success is also no accident. And this book is the encapsulation, sorry, of all the suffering I hope you never have to go through to achieve your own. I want to help you mold and influence the next generation of great leaders and entrepreneurs, to show you how to stop making excuses, take control of your situation, and rise to your potential. The next part of this introduction says this: the only three things that matter. The only three things that matter. This book will give you 6 pillars of effective entrepreneurial leadership, which can be distilled down to the 3 factors you need to go through from struggling to success and to turn a good business idea into an industry transforming empire. Number 1, you will need to become a self discipline, which is pillar 1. You need to become a self discipline, pillar 1, and more effective leader who is able to communicate clearly, pillar 2, make fast decisions, pillar 3, and respond with certainty rather than emotionally, pillar 4. You'll have to clear and defined you'll have a clear and defined vision for your business and a clear cut path to help you get there, pillar 5. You'll know how to build your high performance team, a hardworking, loyal, and driven group of employees who are committed to seeing your vision come true, pillar 6. We're going to cover all of this throughout the book. This book is about you, the leader, your vision, and your high performance team. Those are the 3 factors that determine your everything else. right? A lot of books focus on things like networking and marketing strategies or managing time. They miss the big things in favor of the small things. All right. Again, you're the leader, so it's about you, your vision, and your high performance team. All right. So you're in a circle. Not this book. We're not going to miss out on the big things. We are going to work on the things that matter the most. And I guarantee you the small things will take care of themselves, just like they did for my business. Of the three elements, the first one is the foundation, which is why I start with it. How you lead your life affects how you lead others in your business. Maybe you stay up late, you hit the snooze button, and try to duck under the covers. Maybe you've put your health and fitness on the back burner, and your body and your brain are suffering because of it. Maybe you're quick to blame others for your problems, the economy, the government, the competition, your employees, and even your client and customers. Anyone but you. Man, you do anything to avoid looking in the mirror to take responsibility for where you are in life and business right now. That's huge. Self accountability. Everything changes when you man up. We're finishing up here. It says you go from wasting time on a daily basis to taking measurable steps and massive action on your destined path to success. You go from being an entrepreneur to a pro. You go from being a poser to the real deal. Whether you're a seasoned entrepreneur who is going through a rough patch or a newcomer who is trying to figure out your way in the entrepreneurial world, or someone who just needs a kick in the ass for a change, this is the book that will finally help you break out of mediocrity, get singularly focused, and dominate in business and in life. Let's go. All right, guys. What an introduction to this book, which seems like it's going to be powerful and life changing. I'm excited to go through the rest of these chapters. And just what a way to start. He starts off with the foundation. Why? What woke him up, which was that anxiety attack, right? And our number one fan is watching with us. She's my number one fan, and today was a special day. It was our 13th anniversary, and see you watching, babe. Love you. And man, I'm just excited to read this introduction. He starts off with what really got him started, what woke him up, because he already had the business. A lot of people think that once you have the business, you're successful. That's not always the case. A business costs money. A business takes investment. It takes time to build. A lot of businesses, you know you'll be in a, what you call that. It's pretty much just on the ground for the first couple of years, sometimes a year, sometimes it could be 10 years till you actually see a profit, depending on what industry you're in, depending on the market, depending on, a lot of things, a lot of factors. But really the defining factor, the number one thing, and this is common in every industry, every business out there, is you, the owner. So he starts off with himself. He had the business going. He had a great idea. He had great potential, but it really took him to get it off the ground. And he starts off sharing about some dark phases. I was really touched about the whole car thing because I'm a car guy, and just the fact that his son had to witness that, and he had to explain to his son why they had to leave, lose the car for, to pay his employees, which is something a business owner has to do, and figure out how he's going to pay. As we talk about in my business, our coaches teach us all the time, it's about paying the right bills. And how he didn't let up. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of things he could have done, a lot of strings he could have pulled to keep that car, which is obviously a car that he loved, as he knew the little details about it, even down to the engineer who designed the car. But for him to share that he went through that experience and explain it to his 7-year-old son, and seeing the tears come down his cheeks, oh man, it hit me because, in a business, it is a struggle. There's times that you gotta, you know, pull money from other places to pay the right bills, and he did it. he did what he had to do to make sure his employees were paid, which is signs of a great leader, signs of a great entrepreneur. So he had some things there. It's just he didn't have it all right. Right. He had the bad business partner, and he and what we're seeing here, just so far, what we're seeing in the introduction is that before this massive heart attack or anxiety attack, he's sharing that he was immature in the sense that he was finding anything to blame, any reason to blame why his business wasn't where it should be, to where he could pay all of his bills. And he blamed it on his partner. He had a lot of animosity towards him. He blamed it on his employees who were conspiring against him. He blamed it on his customers who were constantly complaining, which is something that I just dealt with a couple of days ago. With clients who don't understand, and want to shop around to our competition. It could be really frustrating as a business owner, but later on he realizes, and he's saying that there's a transition that goes on in his mindset and his thinking, where he takes full accountability. And he says, he mentions things like, a lot of people are afraid to look in the mirror and really take responsibility for themselves, be accountable to themselves. And so, this is something that I see a lot of business owners struggling in, and in our business too. I see a lot of people come in, they're excited, but there's that one part that we got to always master. And a lot of people don't want to deal with it. So they go back to a job, less accountability, just follow their instructions throughout the day, and, you stay getting paid, instead of, giving yourself instructions and managing yourself, which is why business ownership is the better route to go if you're in for big capital gains. But yeah, man, I'm excited. This is an awesome introduction. I should have completed. I mean, this is a long introduction, but I'm glad we got through it. I'm looking forward to seeing what else is in this book. But yes, like, share, and subscribe, and let's get this channel up and running. Let's build this thing up. Again, this is our book, Man Up by Bedros Keulian. Go ahead, download a free copy from his website. Hit him up on bedroskeulian.com. Also, you can get more information from his YouTube channel. And we are at Big Money Manny on TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Any questions, suggestions, send them my way, and let's keep this thing going. This is it for now. Looking forward to our next chapter, which we'll cover tomorrow. Love you all. God bless. Have a good one, guys.